No. Pushed it.
Oh, hi.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing?
Hey. And how you doing? Welcome to the DukNilla NFL Cast. We are here on the YouTubes. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. All the things on YouTube that are necessary to get us growing. We really appreciate all that good stuff. But you came here to talk about the footballs. Let's talk about some football. All right, first up, we need to talk about how we did for the week. Because we battled it out. We had some spicy picks this week.
Somebody did.
Well, overall...
And they went all in on one individual team. Do we get into that already? Do we?
Not yet.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
I was gonna get a alcoholic beverage because of this game. Because
you need a couple, buddy.
I went a little heavy on that team. I went a little heavy on a certain player that is definitely retiring after this year. But
we need a replay of what you said.
That can we don't do post effects right now, so that's a very unfortunate.
That's coming.
Yes, it is. But with that said, we actually did, just like the season, we poetically tied. We like we just beat each other up, knocked each other down.
Just the first week too, we got plenty of time to get this lead going here.
Oh yeah, right now neither of us want to win the belt. We are just trying. We are trying.
Right.
With that said, let's get into some of the news in the games. First up, we had the Cincinnati Bengals beating the Las Vegas Raiders 26-19. I think the Raiders finally just had enough. I think the pressure got to them. All the drama with this team. I think it just finally hit ahead. Cincinnati looked great. Jamar Chase looked great. Again, which I said, that's who's going to win this game. I took the Cincinnati Jamar Chases. With that said, though, we had a bit of news come out of Vegas where Mike Mayock fired. Really, took me back a minute there. Mike Mayock, highly touted scouting guy. And there was some big people analyzing his picks. A lot of those picks, those early, like the late round picks, are his picks. The early picks that really did not work out were John Gruden in ownership. Those late round picks were all like the Crosby,
right?
The Edwards. Those were Mike Mayock. And to get rid of him, it just seems, it feels like they're just trying to cut a clean slate. I wasn't all for the John Gruden firing myself. But, I mean, from a football standpoint, you had some great people in the back office there that know football. And this team was looking way up. Now, I don't think this team's going to be good. I think the future of this team is trash. We will get into that more in the offseason because we're going to have to see who they hire as a GM, who they hire as a coach. I mean, that could change the tune right away. But overall, Cincinnati looked great. Came out of the game relatively healthy. I believe they did lose a lineman.
Yeah, a defensive lineman.
Thank you.
Larry Ogun.
One of their big time guys.
He came from Cleveland, actually, and really good player. It's sad to see him. He's a really good guy. Remember a lot of stuff that he did for Cleveland and how he played up there, and some of the talk shows and stuff that he was on. I'd heard a lot about him. So he's a good guy. So hopefully he can come back from that and be able to step it up. But that's a huge loss for them.
Big time, especially going into next week. It's going to be really interesting. I know a lot of people aren't high on the Titans, but we'll see. I don't want to give too many spoilers yet. This team, though, I will say, it's good to see young QBs win their first playoff game, because we've seen some QBs that we'll get into other games where this was their first playoff game and they didn't win. And their inexperience and the team inexperience, even at coaching, showed. Whether it be a young QB, young coach, some of it showed pretty bad. Because, as a lot of people say, the game speeds up from college to pro. Well, the game speeds up even more from regular season to playoff football. And some players can't handle it, or some players need, you got to get hit with reality before you can see, what it's like. And that's where playoff experience really comes in.
Yeah, and this overall, this is one of the first ones we're talking about, but there's been many teams this year that have fired head coach, whether it's beginning of the season or any time during the season, and their GM. I mean, we've seen tons of that this year. This is very different. We don't see this very often. And some GMs like Mike Mayock and Spielman that are fired that we just were unexpected. Even Chicago's GM too. His name is Flint. Is it Flint?
I can't remember. I don't know.
I think his last name's Flint. But anyway, it's surprising to see some of these guys. And there's a lot of different. We're hearing a lot of news of who's getting interviews and whatnot, who's going through the process. So we'll see what happens with that. But there's a lot of jobs available.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the teams going back to the Raiders, I can't name I know there are other times. I believe Green Bay was one of them where they fired the head coach. After a playoff loss, it's pretty. I think it's pretty shocking to fire your GM,
right,
after your team just made the playoffs with such diversity through the season. It's really, really shocking to me. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Obviously I'm not the owner of the team. The owner can do what he wants. From a third party guy, I'm just looking from the outside in. I don't agree with it. Mike Mayock, really highly touted guy. We've seen him talk draft football. We see him talk college. I'm not a big college guy myself, so it's always cool to see a Mike Mayock like go in depth over players and going over his scouting reports, his team. It's really magical, to be honest. If you've never done it, I highly suggest listen to that man talk draft. Like there's like two other. There's like Ian Rappaport who could talk a little bit about draft football. But overall, it's Mike Mayock.
David Jeremiah is another guy.
David Jeremiah, yes.
And then I'm blanking on the guy that just put his first mock draft out. He does it every year. On ESPN. I can't remember. But anyway, so yeah. Mayock is really good. I'd be interested to see what he does. Is he going to go back into commentating? Is he going to just completely retire? Is he going to go back into GM? Is he going to go look for one of these other GM positions that there's many of them out there available? Is he going to try for that? He's kind of getting the late step into that after just getting fired. Everybody else has already had interviews and going through the process. So we'll see if he gets something or if he's just going to wait a year. I don't know. I'd be surprised.
I would be shocked if he's not in the draft booth come draft day. If he's GMing for another team, obviously not going to happen, but
right.
I would be shocked come draft day if he was not in the booth talking pre-draft, post-draft football. But moving on to our next game, Mel Kiper. Yes, Mel Kiper's very good as well. We witnessed a murder on Saturday.
Before you get into this one, this game that we just talked about, the Raiders and Bengals, there's only 2 games out of the 6 that were even competitive.
And that was one of them, yeah.
And that's one of them. There's one more, but it's just been blowout. This was it was hard to watch. I don't know.
Oh, I loved it. Loved every bit of it. Watching Patriot fans cry brings me joy.
That's always nice. But
that brings me purest of pure joy
I reached on it. I reached on that game. That's for sure.
47-17.
Oof.
I mean, I said it. Buffalo. I didn't think the Patriots could beat Buffalo when the weather wasn't overly, cold, windy. I think Buffalo still wins in the cold. I just don't think Buffalo like the team. New England is a much more run first team and better built to be more physical than Buffalo is. And when it comes to being that windy, I think New England's used to being that style of football, and I think Buffalo's used to playing all around football and not specializing in just the pound the rock style. Overall, Josh Allen looked amazing in this game. Unbelievable.
5 touchdowns, no interceptions, for the most in Buffalo history.
Yeah, and they went 7 for 7 on drives. We've never seen a team in the postseason go 7 for 7 on drives. It might be 6 for 6, but I believe it's 7 for 7 on drives. Didn't punt. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. I know Bill Belichick. He's moving on to Cincinnati. This is a rough loss for New England fans. Like, you made the playoffs, you had a great year, but to lose like this, whoa, it hurts. I'm not even I am they're probably like in my top 5 of teams, and it hurt. It hurt to see them get beat that bad. Luckily, Buffalo I was rooting for Buffalo, so it's a little bit easier. But to see him get beat that bad was to take a really good season and just get crushed. I will say, though, there is plenty of leaders in that locker room, in that coaching staff. They will learn from this. These players that stick around, the Mac Joneses, the young running backs, they will recover from this. They will learn from this, and I think they will be better next year. If they make the playoffs, I think they have learned from it. This is when we said there's young players out there that weren't ready for the speed. This was it. I think with the coaching staff and veteran players on this team, they will bounce back. So if New England fans have no fear, your buddy James says they will be okay. At least your team made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, jumping into a game where I don't think your team's going to be okay, Philadelphia. You just can't beat the Bucs. I'm really sorry. Tom Brady. Tom Perfect. Honestly, this wasn't even his greatest game. Probably not even his like top 100 game, right?
No.
This defense, which we've talked about injuries, we've talked about this defense has looked like trash, really stepped it up. I want to pump the brakes because they played Philadelphia and a rookie QB. But they look pretty dominant there.
Yeah, this I'm not counting out Tom Brady on almost any game right now. So,
oh no, it's we'll get into our picks.
If this was his play, and he does this every game, and it's kind of somewhat mediocre, is what we're talking about, and all the rest of the team steps up like they did, this team's unbeatable. There's no chance if the defense continues to play like that. Rushing continues to play like they're playing. They're not giving over turnovers and stuff. It's going to be a tough team to beat. It is crazy to see what they're going to do. I'm excited about. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We got to fix that. So is it still? Probably some technical difficulties here, trying to work through. I'm sitting in our new house, and that's why it's blurred background.
Which we
didn't
talk about.
Yeah, we didn't talk about this.
You moved into the new house. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. We've been in here for a week and a half, and we are in a basement that is completely unfinished. Like,
your house is
I'm
beautiful,
staring
though.
at walls with wires in front of me right now with plastic and insulation. I'm freezing down here. It's like 50-something degrees. But so we're getting audio sounds that are just kind of whack. So I will limit some of the talking from my side so that we get it to sound somewhat better. Hopefully next time it'll be better. But
I don't know what it is.
anyway.
It's like a hum.
Well, the heater, the furnace
Ooh.
probably behind me just kicked on.
No,
And
it's only when you're talking.
well, that's what I'm saying. The furnace is on behind me, so I wonder if it's because of that. I'm just playing with my wires here to see if that's maybe a loose wire.
I would say maybe you have a crossing wire or something.
Okay.
That's a lot better.
Oh. Was it?
Yep, gone. Look at that.
I
Boom.
didn't even do anything. I just moved one little thing over, so we'll leave it.
I think I just heard it, but we'll move on because it's gone, but it's gone. All right, but let's talk back about this game. Talk about Brady. Never want to count Brady out. You never want to get focus when you're moving your camera.
Trying to fix it.
I'm like seeing you reach up, and I'm like, don't stare at him moving. Don't stare at him moving. And I just can't.
What is he doing?
Oh, like
trying to fix it.
Oh no, I got to lean back now because now you got me loose now. You know,
Hey.
But you know,
it's okay.
This game was, I don't think it surprised many people. I think there were people that were like, "Hey, Philly, surprise trap game." But this was, we weren't really counting Brady out at all. And this game showed. This game should not even have been as close as it was. These were like sympathy points. But I mean, the Bucks defense looked good this game. I want to again, I'll pump the brakes. But tell me, Duck, did that defense not look good?
Oh yeah.
They look fantastic.
Dominant. I don't care who they're playing. It's a playoff team. They made it to the playoffs.
They stepped up.
You're not bringing your A game. They switched from their last game in the regular season. They made a major change. So
yeah, they
we'll
big time.
See if they can be consistent. If they keep consistent, they're gonna make easy work of this playoffs.
Yeah. Next up, we had the Dallas Cowboys hosting the 49ers. Really disappointing game from the Cowboys' perspective for a couple reasons. One, Cowboys didn't play very well, looked like trash. But I said this last week, I really wanted to change around. For the record, we both took the Cowboys to win this game. But I really wanted to change my pick.
It won't be that bad.
What's that?
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh.
Talking to my son.
Oh. the Cowboys, though, I was saying, it was really disappointing loss for them in a couple different ways. The team looked like trash. Actions after the game,
yes,
were very disappointing by leaders on this team.
Right, and then be apologetic afterwards, so you know he made the wrong choice.
Yeah, I'm really glad. For the record, we're talking about Dak Prescott. He was asked about fans threatening the refs, and he said something along the lines of like "good for them," or "rightfully so," or something along those lines. And just no, we don't condone violence of that type, nor do we condone threats in that manner, especially for a sporting event. The refs have a hard job as it is. As much as we can get mad at them, they're just humans. They might make bad calls. I will say this game didn't come down to one bad call. The Cowboys were making mistakes left and right through this game.
How many penalties did they have?
Too many.
They had a record amount, and they lead the NFL, right, in penalties. They had over 14 penalties. That's what killed them.
Yeah, penalties?
Just bad, stupid penalties.
That last play, which you can see above us here, whoever's idea was to run this play with 14 seconds left, this was a moronic play.
What? No.
What was the point of getting let's say, I'm going to be very generous. What would you say? I mean, you could probably pull a stat up. What do you get, 20 yards? And I'm being generous, 20 yards.
Yeah,
put them on
15.
like the 20, and if you spike it, you get one play. If you would have had 2 Hail Mary chances instead, maybe 3, or you could have done a pass to the outside. I would have accepted a run to the outside. And if you would have done one of those, you would have probably had, we'll be generous and say 8 seconds. 8 seconds is at least 2 more plays. So,
possibly.
I mean, from where you would have gone, from maybe the 30.
Mm-hmm. I think the point
it was the worst play call.
I don't know.
I think I can
agree
recall.
with that. I don't agree with that because here's why.
This is butt fumble worthy.
It's the reason why it is because he went over the 8 to 10 yards that he was supposed to go.
He only needed
to go. He only needed to go 8 to 10 yards, get down, spike it, 2 seconds left. That would have given him much.
8 yards. Listen, hold on. I want to take a pause for a minute because it's outrageous to say that. You want to waste.
No, how is it outrageous?
12 up to. You waste 14 seconds to go 8 yards when you need a touchdown.
The problem yes, that gives him a better opportunity. I bet you the percentage, if you look at the math of it, the percentage from going for 30 yards from the 20 is a much better and easier pass than it is throwing it from 30 yards away into the end zone to even give you an opportunity. So the point was he had 14 seconds. He needed to get down within 10 yards. Then he would have had enough time. His problem was he didn't hand the ball off to the ref. If he handed the ball off to the ref, he would have been fine with at least 1 second left on the clock. So it wasn't just Dak, the center, the ref, the coach, not the ref, the coach, any of them. That was their issue, their fault for what happened. And that, yeah, you could have looked at maybe a pass off to the side or something. It still would have gave you 8 yards.
You can
They're not going to get any further than that.
You can make the argument.
The outsides.
You can make the argument that they would have had a better chance by the way, they were on the 41-yard line. He ran for 17 yards to put them on the 24. Yep. You could say that is an easier pass. That is a way the higher percentage, but you probably get 3 shots on the opposite side, which raises that percentage quite significantly.
Wait. 3 shots on what?
To score. If you
from
run
the 41?
From the 41, you probably get 3 shots. When you're on
the percentage of how unlikely it is,
Dak Prescott can't throw a fastball from the 41.
Everybody's going to stand at the end zone. They know what they're doing.
But then if that's the play, then you have the outside for at least.
No.
It is
they're going to guard the
outsides,
and all they're doing is lining up their guys on the outside and the front. That's it. So what they did is they took an opportunity to gain some yardage. He went 14 yards. That was way too much. He should have went 10 to 12.
He went 17.
That would have gave him, 10 to 12 would have gave him enough to get a nice, good, easier look at a pass and then get the ball spiked down. So that's the problem, is that he went too far. He ran the ball too far and put up too much time by running the ball up the center. The running up the center wasn't a problem. It was the fact that he ran it for too long.
I think it is the Dak slide equivalent to the Mark Sanchez butt fumble.
Not even close to the butt fumble.
I'm sorry. The butt fumble looked terrible. The Dak slide lost. The Dak slide sent them back to Dallas. Sent them home. Bags packed.
Too long.
It's over.
Slide. That's why. It was too long.
Yeah, it was terrible. Garbage. Now, let's go to the 49ers, who still play football for this year. The 49ers have some major injuries. Joey Bosa looking like he's going to play. That's a big guy. So a big person who might play. Jimmy G might not play. That's massive. You go from Jimmy G, playoff experience, Super Bowl experience, to rookie Trey Lance. I don't care how good Trey Lance is projected to be. You're in the playoffs. Never been there. We've already seen what happens to rookie QBs in the playoffs. Not that it's impossible, because it's not. But I just don't feel the same confidence in this team without Jimmy G leading the team. This team is very physical. I talked about it last week. I really was debating switching my pick because I said this team is a very physical team. Now, we'll get into next week's pick when you go against Green Bay, who I think might pop them in the mouth and tell them to sit down. But this game overall, this was entertaining to watch. In the end, I'm rooting for we picked the Cowboys, but I was rooting for the 49ers at the end of it, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But the Dak slide, butt fumble, very equivalent. Now I will have a moment of silence for my humility to the Mahomies.
Moment of silence.
Then I would like to apologize to absolutely nobody. I will not apologize. I took the Steelers. I felt they would ride the Big Ben retirement ceremony. Unfortunately, oh my God, he looked so bad. I had to turn the game off at some points, and then I had to turn it back on because I'm like, James, you got to talk about this game in depth. But Ben needs to retire. This was sad. This man brought his walker to the field. He couldn't even. They couldn't move the offense. T.J. Watt looked amazing, but you can't rely. I mean, the defense held the Chiefs in check. And this is why next week I'm not taking the Chiefs.
Wait. The defense held the Chiefs in check with 42 points?
At the very beginning of the game, the defense kept them in check. But defense cannot hold. The defense can't do any work when the offense can't move the ball.
Oh,
if your defense is constantly out there,
horrible. They got trounced. Patrick Mahomes, 30 for 39. Almost
the defense
perfect.
Scored a touchdown.
5 touchdowns.
The defense.
Even Travis Kelce threw a touchdown on him.
You cannot. You can't.
Stop defending this team. Are you kidding me? They got
Brownie. Sit down, Brownie. Sit down. Don't you defend those Steelers? Don't you do it?
I can't believe I can't. Oh my gosh!
You get your paper bag and calm down.
You're digging yourself even a hole. Like what did you talk to? You're like,
come on, we are analysts.
Patrick
Mahomes, you cannot tell me this defense. You cannot tell me this defense did not hold up for the first half. They held up. It's defenses. No. You can have the best defense in the NFL. If your offense, listen, your defense can be the best in the NFL. But if your offense is always giving the ball back, your defense is going to be tired. And that's what this defense did.
Pittsburgh's defense was best in the NFL.
No, I'm saying their defense was better and was able to keep the Chiefs in check. But if the Steelers were able to have longer drives, were able to score touchdowns,
keep digging a hole because that's all you're doing.
No,
is digging yourself even deeper into this playoffs of what's going to be happening
we'll
with the
see.
Mahomies. Okay,
we shall see.
Oh my gosh, come on!
I still stand by the Chiefs are overrated. Kudos to their playoff run and proving me wrong in many aspects. And I'm proud for them. But your time is coming. Other than that, the Chiefs look decent health-wise. Don't look the worst.
You look decent. Hold on. No, let's get into some numbers of who actually looked decent. Who would I bring up? The guy that actually looked really good. Jerick McKinnon, rookie.
He is not a rookie.
No, he's not a rookie.
He used to play for the Vikings. That's Jerick McKinnon. He used to play for the Vikings. He played for the Vikings. I had him in our best ball league, or not ours, but in A, and he sucked all year.
Yeah, but
he played the Steelers, and they wore the Steelers down.
He rocked the Steelers. He had a really good game.
Overrated. Overhyped.
Okay. We'll see.
They
didn't even use him. Oh, yeah. He had 12 carries, 61 yards rushing. He also had 6 receptions 6 targets for 81 yards and a touchdown.
I'm moving on.
I'm sure you are, but
I don't care
because
about
we're going
this
to talk
team.
about this team next week too. So go ahead.
You're right. When they're knocked out, and we talk about, and we will talk about them in the postseason, or the after season. Excuse me, about how they're going to have to rebuild, and they're going to have to start paying players.
The rebuild. Look at this. Oh my god. Are we talking about the Lions? Or who are we talking about?
Yeah, my bad. Speaking of rebuilds, none of these teams are in really rebuild mode. I mean, I think the only team that really is maybe Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has, they need a QB badly. They have a great receiving core, potential receiving core. They have some really good wide receivers. Their defense is pretty good. They just need people to move the ball and keep their defense off the field. That's Pittsburgh in a nutshell.
I think quarterback's a big thing, and even there's talk about some trades for quarterbacks as well during this time, so we'll see what they have for that in the offseason for sure.
Hey, Duck, I got a question for you.
Sure.
What wide receiver was statistically the best this weekend?
Oh, my gosh. It had to have been somebody that I don't want to talk about.
Jay! Statistically, the best wide receiver was Odell Beckham Jr. Oh, I'll be right back.
I don't even care about it. Yeah, next. Let's go to the next game.
Yeah, we're in the next game. The Rams and the Cardinals. This is the only game. The Rams.
This is the game that I was telling you. One of these teams, I didn't realize before that they're playing each other. I was like, both the teams are going to lose.
But they both had to play,
so somebody had to win, right? So somebody had to win. And the Cardinals were looking bad. They looked great at the beginning of the season, mid-season, and then the end of the season, they were looking awful. They played just like they have been the last 4 or 5 games. So I'm not surprised on this. LA is clicking at the right time, but I don't see them going any further.
I really like the Rams. I've been very high on the Cardinals all year, but the Rams' playoff experience just showed. They were outplayed. They were outcoached. And the Rams looked. I mean, this defense finally clicked. Finally. But, I mean, no DeAndre Hopkins is a pretty big deal for the Arizona Cardinals. They just couldn't click. Kyler Murray making some very bad decisions with the football. His playoff experience or inexperience really showed. This is a team that I worry. We talk about New England. I said New England could bounce back from it. This is a team I don't know. It's a very young team, very young head coach. I don't know if they can bounce back from this loss, this defeat, and, learn something from it. I don't know. Time will only tell. I hope all teams do. But I don't know. There's too many questions. They have a lot of old players on this team as well, a lot of veterans. We'll get into all the offseason talking about this team's future. I have a lot of questions when it comes to, people that, do we think J.J. Watt's going to return to Arizona?
Man, I don't know.
Do we think A.J. Green's going to stay? I believe D-Hop's contract's up.
Mm-hmm.
We have some running backs over there that's contracts are up. I believe Honey Badger. I believe his contract is either in its last year or up. There are some very serious players. They're gonna have to do some maneuvering. Now that teams can't. They can always reload, rebuild, repurpose, next man up. But there are some big holes, big veteran holes. And after you take a loss like that, we need to see can you step up. Rams side of the ball though. Matthew Stafford, I sent Duck a video earlier. I said if you need a reason to root for the Rams and Stafford, here's Stafford's goodbye video to Detroit. I cry every time I watch it. And I'm so happy he won his first playoff game. Wish it was with us, but kudos to Matthew Stafford. Forever a Stafford fan. He'll forever be my QB. It's going to make this week coming up very hard. But he didn't even have the greatest game either. He just looked good. This defense really finally stepped up. I think that's the bigger picture for the Rams. Now, going in next week, do we think that's going to be the case? That's going to be interesting to talk about. Any last notes on these two teams and Odell Beckham Jr. having a lights out game? Actually, speaking of that, I do want to talk about OBJ real quick. They actually showed OBJ looks great, by the way. We're talking about him. His contract's up at the end of this year. I think it's very smart. He's an LA guy, very close to the Queen, LeBron James. And LeBron going from Cleveland to LA.
Team, by the way. Yeah. I mean,
that's why I said La Queen
over there.
La Queen
rough over there. The Cavs are actually better than the LA, just to get on the basketball side of it. So it's nice to see. I'm a little happy about that.
Yeah, but I mean, we're making connections with OBJ. He's close with LeBron's people. He's close with LeBron.
Sure.
They're in LA. This is just a good fit for him. And in LA, he's not asked to do a lot. Now, cap-wise, it's going to be very interesting because I don't think LA can really afford him at a big contract at all. So it's going to have to be a good deal, which means he's going to have to take a pay cut. But I think if he wants, this is such a good fit for him. You have Cooper Kupp. You're not asked to be the number one, which is why I think he fits so well here and why he had such an amazing game because they doubled, in some cases tripled Kupp. Come
on, let's not go.
And OBJ is going talent-wise. We talked at the beginning of the year. OBJ is a very talented receiver, but Cleveland was like the worst fit for him. We said that
because of the scheme that was.
We said the scheme, and we said cap-wise. I said cap-wise, he's not a good fit for Cleveland. Cleveland could afford two better players, and he's expected to be the number one in Cleveland. When in LA, it's a very good fit because OBJ is a very athletic person. If you're telling me he's a number two, I'm creaming my pants for him to be my number two. Get out of here, baby.
I'll pass. I don't need the drama.
Get out of here.
Take it to LA.
When I have the best receiver in the NFL, and Cooper Kupp and OBJ's my back. It's a fit. This is why I have hopes for this team offensively.
I'm glad somebody does on this.
Well, I'm saying I don't think. Put it this way, I don't think Odell has. He does not have this level of success anywhere else. I don't see it.
I don't.
Unless he goes to a place high level being the number two. This is one game. I'll give it one game. But what this one game has shown is that he can have this high level of success.
Four receptions of 51 yards, and he threw a ball for 40 yards. He's done that in Cleveland.
He scored every touchdown.
Isn't high level. He scored one touchdown.
Every touchdown.
No, he didn't.
He was a part of every touchdown.
Yes, but he didn't throw a touchdown. So I don't understand how he was a part of it. Matthew Stafford threw 2 touchdowns.
He pretty much threw that touchdown, man.
He didn't throw a touchdown, but he didn't throw it. He scored 1 touchdown, and he had 54 yards. I don't understand where he's the almighty anymore. This doesn't bring him to anything of any top tier.
Let me ask you, is this just OBJ hate?
No, it's not. It's because everybody's putting praise on a guy that did absolutely nothing in Cleveland. He couldn't catch a ball. The balls were thrown to him. He had a quarterback that was injured, throwing the balls. He still couldn't catch the ball that was thrown to him. Sure, there were some bad passes. We all know that.
That is very good criticism
like
of
nobody's
him.
Business.
That is very good criticism of him, and it is worthy criticism of him. But this game, he looked good.
Yes,
he looked
good.
happy. He looked comfortable.
Because
looked
he's in a playoff
like an
game and he won a playoff game.
player.
Right?
He looked like a stud. He looked amazing in this one game.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
I think they can continue to have this success.
Oh my gosh. This is just.
All right, well,
you keep going. Let me mute because I can't hear this anymore. This is getting too much.
Before we get into our weekly picks, for the divisional round, we want to bring up if there's any news. We won't be doing the power ranking review today. Today's the Olduk new NFL in a minute news.
The big news of the day today was Baker Mayfield's in surgery. He came out. I watched the video on him. Looks like he came out and was good, but he's out 4 to 6 months recovery. I mean that's a big time. That puts it into training camp, right?
I'm not sure the math on that.
June would be 6 months.
Your audio bug has came back too.
It's the
you weren't having it till now.
The furnace just kicked on. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're not listening.
You just kicked on.
Oh my gosh, this guy.
This OBJ hate.
Oh my God. There's no hate. I'm tired of people being so high in praise on a guy that had one good catch, and now he's the almighty god of football. Because he went to LA, because everybody else goes to LA because they can't win in small other places. I just don't understand.
That is a deep criticism, by the way, because that is a field of veteran players that have had like limited success with other teams.
Right? And so
that is a fair criticism.
It's like the NBA, right? Making the god teams of the NBA. Everybody's like, okay, hey,
on paper,
LeBron James, I'm going to Miami. Everybody else come with me.
On paper,
that's what happened.
On paper, Doc, this team should be the best in the NFL. On paper, nobody should be competing with this team. But that's not how it is. This team hasn't clicked all year.
No,
this is their first game that they have finally clicked and looked amazing. And I want to give them praise for that one game of looking like a all-elite Super Bowl winning team.
I can't, because they're playing a team.
Your hate runs too deep.
No, they're playing a team, the Arizona Cardinals, that their talent has been downhill for 3 games. They've been playing like garbage, and they've been losing games constantly. So they're playing a team that's already on the mend of shouldn't have even been in the playoffs, in my opinion. They've won some games that they should have not have won. Okay, I'm serious. Look how horrible this game was. It looked like complete garbage on.
Wow.
And like I've said, and I will stick with this. If these two teams playing 2 different teams, they both would have lost. Okay, the only reason why the LA won is because they're kind of on an uptick right now. They're playing good. They had a good game.
You are trying to debate me into our picks, but we're talking news. Give me some other news. Do you got any other news?
That was the biggest news I had. And there's been a lot of coaches, interviews and all that stuff. I haven't looked into any of those right now. I don't really care. To be honest with you.
We had Jim Harbaugh get interviewed, phone interview by the Chicago Bears. He did tell recruits to Michigan that he is considering a move to the NFL. I agree with a lot of other analysts that I don't believe he's going to Chicago. It's not a fit for him. He does have connections out there, but it's not a fit. He's a Michigan guy. You think he's really going to go to Chicago? I don't see it. I think
him going somewhere is a better fit for him in the NFL than it is college.
Oh, I think he's an NFL head coach, but he's gonna have his pick of the litter. Really, he really will. But I don't see Chicago. I really don't. I would be quite pissed though as well. So it might also just be me, wishful thinking that he doesn't. With that said, let's get into our game picks. Unless we have some other news,
well, right here, Jimmy G looks like he's expected to play versus the Packers, but won't be 100% because of his shoulder and thumb.
I mean, that's very big.
Yeah.
I don't think it
Possibility
sways
of
my
Derrick
pick.
Henry. We're not 100% on Derrick Henry.
We're not 100% on Henry?
They're saying we'll see where I am on Saturday, it says. So
I think you would have to drag that man off the field for him not to play. I think he's going to play.
He come back too quick. Well, just like did J.J. Watt play in that last game?
He did. And
I did not notice
he looked okay. He looked okay. I think he's playing next year. I just don't think he's elite J.J. Watt like he is.
No.
I think he is still stud J.J. Watt, but he is not elite J.J. Watt.
Kind of like a Jadeveon Clowney. I think Jadeveon Clowney's maybe a little bit better right now. Just because they're both having injury prone ridden and they've had some issues up and down. I think having them on the other side of a predominant, other end is going to be great.
J.J. Watt is in the point of his career where he's not the guy; he's a complimentary guy.
Right.
He's no longer the hot stud he was. It's kind of like an Ndamukong too. Amazing defensive tackle, amazing player. Just he's no longer that guy anymore. He can't be that guy.
He's still a little dirty, That's all.
Forever will be.
Yeah, he was a little rough.
I will give you the first pick if you wish. Would you like to pick first or defer?
I'll pick first.
All right. So our first game up, we have the Tennessee Titans hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. Whole week off.
Tennessee Titans, Bengals.
I'm glad you're picking first because I would have talked you into this pick.
I mean, I know where I'm leaning on this one. We looked at it the first week of the playoffs. Out of 6 games, Dallas was the only team to lose their home game. Every other game was won by the home team. I think that's significant. Not always is there a home team advantage, but I think the playoffs makes it a little bit more than it does during the regular season. For this pick, I don't like doing it, but I'm going to because I think they have the most. Because we got a little bit of injuries on the Bengals, right? That we're not 100% sure on players there. They lost their defensive tackle.
Let me ask you
Joe
this.
Burrow is coming off some injuries. He played a good game, but he had some injuries.
Are you leaning for the Titans?
Yes.
Let me sell you on it. Cincinnati's 0-7 all-time on road playoff games. Cincinnati just lost a stud defensive tackle for this game. Cincinnati has a very young QB, inexperienced in the playoffs. We have Jamar Chase. We have a very talented team. I'm not going to count them totally out.
No.
But I think the
Titans. I don't see this as a blowout. I do. This is still a close game.
I do.
I'm not sold on Tannehill here. This is why. I'm not sold on Tannehill and his play. I think this is a game that he can lose with his play style. Okay, he's been good. He's been bad. He's been good, inconsistent throughout the whole year. I'm going for Tennessee on this one.
I'm going Tennessee.
It's a home game.
I'm going with
the potential of Derrick Henry coming back. If Derrick Henry's coming back and Larry's out, I think we're going to see some running. So
this team, I think Tennessee is on the right side of players coming back from injuries. They had a week off to watch the tapes. They're going against a younger team, and I think they're going to eat them alive. Again, similar to the 49ers game. I'm not switching my pick where I like 49ers, Cowboys. I really was going back and forth. I'm not on this one. I'm pretty confident the Titans will win this game. But I wouldn't be totally shocked either if Cincinnati took this. Jamar Chase there is no denying the connection with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase playing in college. That is a connection that's
huge.
It is huge, and it's something you can't compare. It's massive. It's a massive advantage. Most of those connections take years in the NFL to make, and some players don't get that many years with a stud wide receiver or a stud quarterback. So it's something special to watch. But I'm really confident Tennessee will win this. Though Tennessee in the past has proven to me that they beat good teams but lose to bad teams. So that's why I'm taking them to win this one. Now moving on to our next game, we have the Green Bay Packers hosting the 49ers. We talked about their injuries. Looks like they're all leaning to play. We had that news just pop up. But I still think Green Bay, I think Aaron Rodgers I don't think you're going to deny Aaron Rodgers. I think this Green Bay team, it's a home game, so I think that's going to take a huge advantage for them, by the way. I'm not big on Green Bay's defense, but I think Aaron Rodgers is going to march down this field, discount double check his happy butt to Joe Rogan's office and kick some ass. I don't think you're denying him. He has something to prove this year. The massive chip on his shoulder. And I'm taking the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that one. I think we're going to see Green Bay own another team here pretty soon.
Aaron Rodgers, I own you.
Yeah. He's
owning a lot
of teams
this is a very important stat. Aaron Rodgers is 0-3 versus San Fran in the postseason. I mean that's a pretty remarkable stat, but you are still not going to get me to take San Fran. I would be shocked if San Fran won this game because I am that confident in Green Bay this week. I mean, the home field advantage is huge. Green Bay fans show up. They show up. This is going to be a cold game.
It's cold up here. You know, I'm in Wisconsin, right?
Yep, this is going to be a cold game.
Cold.
I don't know if San Fran's going to be ready for that. I mean, Green Bay is used to it.
So you're going to see some cold weather and possibly some snow. You know, we'll see. But the San Fran boys that live on the beach down there, you know, ain't going to like this weather. Okay,
that's another reason I'm not sold on them. Now, I'm very glad you have to pick this game and not me.
Yeah, this is
easy. This one I have gone back and forth and back and forth. I still not sold on who I want to pick, but you get to choose. Tampa Bay is hosting the LA Rams.
We've talked about this pretty much all year. I'm not picking against Tom Brady until he proves me otherwise. Tom Brady, home game. There's nothing else to say on this one.
I don't know.
I don't see how this is difficult to pick.
This is difficult to pick as on a personal level. I am a huge Tom Brady fan. It's Tom Perfect, and my wife will say this joke when anyone brings up Tom Brady, and she'll look at him just as I will. It's Tom Perfect in this house. Such a good guy. Yeah, the greatest, the GOAT. I love Stafford. I've talked about this. He's my forever quarterback. I've been very sold on the Rams on paper. This team is the best on paper. My analyst side says the Bucs are very injury ridden. They are a playoff team that is experienced in the playoffs, which the Rams are not. But the Rams are healthy. The Rams have players coming back. They are fully loaded. They have connections being built between receiver and quarterback in OBJ and Stafford. You have the greatest receiver in the NFL in Cooper Kupp. With that said, on the other side of the ball, you have probably the greatest connection of all time in Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. And what linebacker is going to cover Rob Gronkowski? I don't know. Mike Evans is still on that team. Mike Evans has been beat up this year. Gronk has always been injury away, but he's dominant. And there's the most dominant tight end we've seen in the NFL. With the world's greatest connection with Tom Brady. Tampa's defense has been beat up. They are getting guys back. They looked amazing last week. But they've also proven that they fall apart to good teams. So now I go to coaching. Because I'm pretty much dead even in where I want to go. Bruce Arians is a good culture coach. Brings people together. He's willing to criticize the GOAT of all people. He handles situations. We saw how he handled the Antonio Brown situation.
He had a little controversy. He is a little under fire. Excuse me.
This is kind of what I'm going to get into is
okay.
He's not perfect though. He has flaws. When we get into who is the best, like if you were to tell me who is the offensive mind of that team, it ain't Bruce Arians. You're probably going to go Tom Brady. Maybe even the OC. If we go to the Rams, you're going to say Stafford.
You know who?
But no, you're going to go on.
Byron Leftwich.
And he's a good OC, right?
He was a good quarterback in his prime, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I think he has a lot to do with it. I think Tom Brady definitely has, the edge above all that, just because of experience. But
you're gonna tell me he's a better coach than the Rams head coach, who is young, many more years of football left in his career. I think he's just started. This guy, he has a breakable ceiling where he gets shoot through. I think Bruce Arians' time is coming close. And I think, see, this I still don't know who to pick, and I almost don't want to pick in this game. I'm so excited to watch this game because I don't know who I want to win. But from an analyst side, it is hard to pick against Brady. But I have to look at who is most hungry. And this is why I'm taking the Bucs. Because of a comment made by Aaron Donald to Tom Brady. He was asked about Tom Brady. Aaron Donald said, he is, and I'm paraphrasing, he is the GOAT. He has been one of the greatest QBs. But this is a new year. And if you don't think Tom Brady is going to take that personally, you are out of your mind. This man is going to use that as fuel to rip your team apart. He's going to do his homework. He is going to eat you alive. So it's why I have to take the Bucs. And it was solely because of that comment by Aaron Donald that I have to take the Bucs, because that is the fuel Brady needs. And it breaks the tie for me. So I will be taking the Bucs as well. Probably a shock to Doug here. He was
not
a shock. Probably worried.
It's a smart pick.
Now,
this is the first time a pick that I am a little surprised, but it's a pick that you actually were smart on. Okay.
Now, with that said, I already know we are going to differ in this next one.
Oh, 100%.
I pick first. The Kansas City Deflating Chiefs are hosting the Buffalo Bills. I will go into my same little rant and try to sell.
Here we go. Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs are at home. One of, if not the hardest places to play. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen has not been the greatest in postseasons past. He has shown blunders. He has shown mishandling the pressure of the playoffs. But I think he has moved on from this. And I think this Buffalo team defensively is going to beat the living shit out of the Chiefs. I think this is where you see the collapse of the Mahomes. This is going to be Super Bowl Tampa Bay levels of ass beating. Buffalo went 7 for 7. Tell me this Chiefs defense is going to stop them. Tell me this Chiefs defense is going to stop them.
To go that far. Oh, they're 100%. They're going to.
No way. The crowd will affect this game more than the Chiefs defense will. So I'm taking the Buffalo Bills.
I don't even know what to say. It's
Say congratulations, you're taking the Chiefs. You're giving me a free win. The tiebreaker, there will be no tie next week if you take the Chiefs.
Well, I'm taking the Chiefs. That's a no-brainer. The pick that you're picking is more outrageous than last week's with the Steelers pick.
No way. No, my Steelers pick was way off.
Oh,
it was a long shot of hope. This is analytically
just
proven.
There's no chance. You're going to see the true Allen right here. He's going to be on the stage afterwards, moping and crying because he can't. I lost the team for him. I lost the game. You're going to hear that, okay? So, Chiefs are going to win. Mahomes is going to have another great game, just like he did the last game.
Are the Mahomes finally going to band together to kind of try to stop me?
4 to 5 touchdown passes by Patrick Mahomes on this game. You're going to probably see 2, possibly 3 interceptions from Allen. The fans are definitely going to affect this game in the favor of the Chiefs. So I don't.
If they lose this game, it will be because of the crowd noise. But I still don't think they're going to.
The last 2 games from these two teams have been really good, right? We've seen really good play from both quarterbacks and defenses. So this is going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be closer than we think. And I definitely have the Chiefs winning this.
Can you tell me the last time these two teams played?
I don't. I'm just talking about the last games.
Let me look it up real quick.
Just the last games.
Let me tell you why. Go ahead, continue while I pull this information up. Go ahead.
I don't have anything else.
Dig your hole, buddy.
I'm digging my hole. You've done that already for yourself. I can't dig anything. I mean, I'm just putting more into your hole. I mean, let's pull up some stats on this game.
So the last time these two teams played was October 10th this year, or I guess this season. 38-20. This game was in KC, mind you. Okay, Josh Allen went 15 for 26, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, and rushed for a touchdown. Rushed 11 times for 59 yards. Knox, not Diggs, not Sanders, 117 yards, 1 touchdown. Patrick Mahomes, 33 for 54. 272 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a fumble.
What week was this game?
Five.
Okay. We know Kansas City was struggling at the beginning of the year, right?
Oh, absolutely.
The first part of the season
This was at the beginning of the year. I said this is how teams play, I have said it all year that the blueprint is out on how to beat the Chiefs. The Bucs did it in the Super Bowl. The Buffalo Bills did it in Week 5 and demolished them.
But you saw a team that was not at all close to the potential of where they are now. So it's going to be a total different turnaround in game. I don't think you can look at that as a blueprint of what happened because you saw a lot of bad play before that game.
Doug, you are
starting the season of Mahomes and the team in general. So you're going to see.
You're a big Vegas guy. Do you know where Vegas sits on this game?
I'm not a big Vegas guy. What are you talking about?
You talk about about the stats. Yeah, they took the Bills.
Well, yeah, because that's just what's out there, right? Who knows? I haven't this whole time brought up my favorite word for the NFL. Okay, I'm not going to right now.
Get the fuck out of here with that.
You know what I'm talking about. Okay, how do they get so close in this kind of stuff? You think it's because they're analyzing and they're checking and they're doing this and that and over here?
Yes.
No, it's not all just that. Okay.
No. You will never sell me on your scripted speech. You will never sell me that this professional sport of the NFL. I could see other 100%. Sports, but this is no. Well, you're not giving it to me.
Well, you believe what you believe on that.
Well, anyway, you know what? This week one of us will be in the lead to wear the belt.
Yeah.
Because there will be no tie.
Giving
With that
you
said,
a discount double check. Okay.
The games we picked, we both took the Titans. We both took the Packers. We both took the Bucks. We split on the Chiefs and Bills. I will be demolishing Duck next week. I will accept his apology. So, with that said, we would like to thank you guys for coming out to the DukNilla NFL cast. We really appreciate each and every one of you that watch. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're watching this in the future, way in the future, because you want to go back and archive and see when Duck was on a full load of crap and see how awesome my picks were.
You mean last week with yours? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't bat 100. I don't bat 100. But I am still tied. Please don't go back and watch that one.
We need some more views on that one, because that was atrocious.
That was passion, okay? That was pure passion that came out.
Is that what they call it?
But with that said, we want to thank each and every one of you for coming out, and we will see you guys next week for another episode of the DukNilla NFL cast. Have a good night. Stay safe out there, and goodbye. Good night.
Yeah.
Stay classy, San Diego.